Welcome to Dan the Cleaning Man channel, where we help you build and grow a successful commercial cleaning business. Whether you're just starting out or looking to expand, we provide expert tips, step-by-step guides, and proven strategies to help you succeed. Subscribe now and join our community to stay ahead in the commercial cleaning industry.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Dan, the Cleaning Man channel. I just got a special guest with me today, and she brings a wealth of knowledge. Just a value member for the Integrity Facility Solutions team. And her name is Carrie Robertson, and I'll give her the opportunity to introduce herself and give her background history there. So go ahead, Carrie.
Here we go. Where do we start? Okay, so I am Carrie Robinson, and yeah, I'm actually a fairly new member to Integrity Facility Solutions. I think I came in June.
Yes.
So yes, right at June, and it's been an amazing experience. But prior to that, I've worked in sales and marketing, built network marketing businesses, worked for coaching industries. My husband and I developed a coaching program ourselves, worked in college recruiting. So lots of history in that realm of sales and marketing. And I love it. It gives me so much energy to do that. Off work hours, though, we live in Orlando, Florida. We actually relocated from Oregon to Orlando, so coast to coast, with our 13-year-old and our 8-year-old boys. My husband travels a lot for work, and I always tell people, I'm like, we're a busy family. Everyone's a busy family. Like, I get this, but our lives have to be scheduled to the max. Otherwise, something will slip through.
Oh my
I'm sure
gosh,
you
yes.
understand that.
Yes.
Um, but I've really worked, I worked remote, obviously, you know this, and I've done that for 13 years. And it allows me to kind of be here when my kids need it, but also do the work that I love to do.
Yeah, and you do. I mean, just in the short period of time you with the integrity, it made huge marks within the company, and everyone just loves you. And
Oh,
yes, they think
thank you.
highly of you. So you brought a lot to the table here at Integrity.
Well,
So
I appreciate it. I sure love it there too. Everyone is so amazing. And
yes.
I've worked with a lot of people, and I know you have too. So you know when you find a spot with good people, you're like, okay, I want to
Yeah.
make this stick.
Let's make this gel kind of
Hmm.
move forward from that perspective. Well, good
Yeah.
deal. All right. Well, let's jump in. Let's get into the questions of things. So, as I got to know Carrie, I didn't really realize she was a college recruiter, and I kind of want to dive into that first one. So from the college recruiter to janitorial sales executive, what drove you to make such a diverse career shift? And what was the
Well,
biggest lesson you learned from that?
well, there are a lot of years in between there, but it's, God opens doors. And we are a
Yes.
big believer that when those doors open, you just jump through them and see what's going to happen. So that's really the short story of how I went from college recruiting to janitorial services. But it was really the nuts and bolts of it was, it was all about my family. Like I did college recruiting for a number of years. I loved college recruiting. I built a leadership program at the school because I believe that students recruit students better than adults recruit students. And if you have a teenager or college student, you know how true that is.
Yes.
They want
Yes.
to talk to their peers. And so I train the peers in sales and marketing and just really promoting the college to these other students. And it was extremely successful. But I traveled a lot. I mean, I traveled a lot. I was gone a lot of the times, 6, 8 weeks during the fall and the same during the
Wow.
spring. And, with a family, that's just not feasible if you don't have to do that.
No.
So yeah, another door opened for me to build a network marketing company. So I hopped through that door and built that company and then moved into working with a personal development coach, which is how I met Dan. And I mean, things just fall in order. And like I said, God opens doors and you walk through them. And all of
Oh,
a sudden, I am selling janitorial services. Who knew?
well, and how's that transition been for you? I mean, I know it's been an adjustment for you, but
Mhm. Hmm.
There is a lot of skill sets you have brought to the table in regards to, scripting.
Hmm.
Obviously, cold calling is part of the business.
Hmm.
And then even our recruiters, you're getting involved in helping
Hmm.
scripting the recruiting process.
Hmm.
Just making sure that it's a smooth transition. So I mean, what does that look
I,
like for you?
Well, so I believe that when people find their genius, what they're really good at, it doesn't seem like work. And that's what this is for me. I mean, even when you go back to college recruiting, what I did for those college students is exactly what I'm doing for the recruiters here and the marketing team and the sales team. I'm writing scripts, I'm training them, I'm teaching them tonality, I'm helping them work through conversations to close deals, right? And so I started doing that so long ago in the college world. And I think if you can teach college kids to do anything, you can do anything.
And it's becoming a second nature to you right now.
It's very, very second nature to me. It's easy, it's fun. And I love to see people grow. Like we're seeing our marketing team. I don't know if you've noticed this, but they are just gaining confidence. And I believe when you gain that confidence, it's going to lead to that competence, right? And we're seeing
Absolutely.
that in what's resulting in sales appointments. And we're seeing it with our sales team too. And even with today working with Orlando on the recruiting, it was, he's just, you could see that confidence building in him. So the transition, even though it's a different industry, it's still something that I'm very familiar with. And in network marketing, that's what I had to do with my downline too, is teach them how to do this.
Right.
Um, the unique thing when it comes to network marketing is you had to find your own leads, right? Then you had to sell the product and then you had to nurture those leads. So as you know, I've said this several times, I have a hard time letting my sales go to you guys, even though I know you're totally capable because I've never done that before.
That's
I've
right.
always just managed them all, right?
Yeah.
But it's a testament to you guys though too, because you do such a great job in operations.
Yeah.
Like so we can hand it over and know that it's taken care of. But it's that's been an interesting transition for me for sure too. And even having someone set appointments for me, I've never had that happen before. I usually just did it for myself.
Yes.
So
And
yeah,
I'm sure that all that is getting automated nowadays.
yeah,
And everything is transitioning more in a more productive way.
yeah.
And an adjustment needs to be made, as we
Hmm.
go along. But um, all right. So with that said, I got one last question in regards to that piece, the recruiting. Is there any particular university or college that you were doing, or was it in general a handful of them?
It was one that I worked for. It was a small community college in Oregon, and they did, it was a community college, and then they were also a culinary school. So I recruited for both
Oh,
of them.
nice.
Yes. Yeah. So it was fun. It was fun. And we went all over the Pacific Northwest to recruit from like Alaska to Montana, Southern Cal, like Idaho, all over to recruit students to come here, Hawaii, like all those things.
Oh my
So
gosh. And I'm a
yeah.
foodie. I'm a foodie and I like to watch them little food channels where they go to it.
Oh,
So
that was every day. The students would be like, "Oh, we're making this. Can you come try it?" Do you know how much weight I gained while I was
oh my I can oh my gosh.
but they actually like after I had my son and I cut back on work there and we relocated. They called me back to work remotely. They're like, "We just need you here to have your hands in some of this stuff to help us out to keep things moving forward." So
Wow,
it's
that is awesome.
it was fun. It was fun, but it was for one specific college. It was
Yeah.
actually the college I went to, so that's where I started. So that's kind of fun too.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you had a big belief and you knew the culture there and you could easily share that. So yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And that's the deal with sales is that you if you believe in the product and you
Hmm.
believe in the company, it's really easy to sell. But you'll see people who don't believe in what they're selling and you can pick them out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure you've had that.
Yes. Yeah. And
Hmm.
you can tell. And
Hmm.
the tone that, like you said, you're teaching them how to change that tone and adjust it
Hmm.
accordingly. So, well, that's
Hmm.
great. That's great. All right. So as someone who succeeded in both corporate and coaching role, What would you say are the top skills people overlook when they're trying to make a career change?
I think what people really overlook are soft skills. Those
Yes,
soft skills, the communication skills, how to talk to people, how to help people, how to present things in a manner that's going to move the company in the right direction. I think that's missing in a lot of things. And if you can nail that down, I believe you're unstoppable. Like,
absolutely.
mhm,
And you're not the only one. And so I interviewed with Dan, and he said the same thing. Soft skills.
mhm,
It's becoming like gold. I mean, you
yeah,
gotta. It's a big part of individuals you want to bring in uh,
yeah.
from that perspective. So, all
And I
right.
think it's just learned from experience if you're willing to learn it.
Yes, very much so. You got to accept that learning.
I I had someone tell me one time, she goes, I think you just really criticized me, but you said it so well and complimented me. I'm not really sure how to take this.
And that's perfect. That's the way you want to do it.
Exactly. Soft skills.
I'm mad at you, but
But you were
soft
so nice
skills.
about it.
Absolutely.
What
All
is it?
right.
You get more flies with honey?
Yes,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's very true. Very true.
Hmm.
All right. So what are some of the unexpected similarities between coaching and sales, and how did you
Hmm.
apply them skills in the current role and in janitorial industry?
So it's people. It's all people, right? And building relationships. And I know you've heard me say that before, but in coaching, you're dealing with people. In janitorial, you're dealing with people. And so if you can make that realization and learn how to use those soft skills and build those relationships and have those conversations, um, the switch is really easy, right?
Absolutely.
And so I really feel like that's what it's all come down to in every single career that I've had is like knowing how to work with people, knowing how to communicate with people, listening, active listening. We talk about that a lot in our leadership meetings,
We do.
that active listening and then applying those skills as you're working with people. And if you can do that, again, it comes down to you're unstoppable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So collectively, soft skills and active listening is, them are the key things. Them are key.
I know a lot of times when I'm training people, I'm like, just close your mouth.
Hold on. Let me get this out so you can understand and comprehend what I'm saying. So, all right. So you are really, I don't know if this is a fair question to you, because
Okay.
you're not so much in the field. However, you're selling the product. But the
Mhm.
question is, the janitorial industry is often underappreciated. And there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Do you think people have about what surprises you on that?
What surprises me about their misconceptions,
Yes. Have you?
that's
That's why.
that this is how I approach it, and this might not be what you're looking for if I'm even answering the question. But when I'm always thinking about janitorial services, it's like this is something that people need and
Yes,
it's a convenience for them, but they don't want to have to think about it.
that's
Like
correct.
they want it just taken care of and they don't have to think about it. So it's definitely not glamorous, but that's okay. It's necessary for a lot of businesses. And I think that is like if you're talking about underappreciated, I think that's it. Because if you don't have it, people really miss it and realize how much we actually do to help them
Yes,
operate on a daily basis. Is that kind of
absolutely.
what you're getting at?
Yes. So, and the reason why I didn't think it was a fair question to you because I mean, you're out there selling the product, right? And you're closing
Mhm.
these deals. However,
Mhm.
you're not face to face with the customers that are really providing the challenges to the ops team and where you're not seeing that side of stuff, and
Mm-mm.
that's so. But yeah, from your perspective, and when you're selling this thing, and I think you just summed it up great from your perspective. So
Yeah, and it would be really interesting at some point when I'm there to really see what you guys do and what
I
you deal with on a
I
daily basis.
I think you would be, just go out with one of the ops managers and, into a building, and I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. They built good relationships out there, but however, we always run into little snags and that we got to cover,
Hmm.
fix and take care of.
Yeah.
So
Well, and the reality is we're all human, right? So there
yes.
are going to be snags whenever you're dealing with people, and that's okay. It's just how you handle them. To me, that really shows true character is like how you work through those.
And then it goes back again to that active listening and soft skills out in the field. It
Yeah,
does. It
exactly.
does.
Exactly.
So,
I did spend a day with Brad and
did you go
got to
out? Oh,
see.
that's right. You did,
I
didn't you?
I went out. Yeah, he didn't feed me lunch, but that's okay. I lived.
I apologize. The operations is on the run all the time.
I'm just totally teasing because I guess it was a big deal. And I'm like, I wasn't even hungry. I was fine. But Chris was calling him going, Brad, did you feed her? And somebody else was. And I'm like, I'm fine, really. So I thought maybe you'd heard that joke.
No, I did. I recall that you went out, and I didn't get the download of that piece of it. But yeah,
But
unfortunately, when we get running, we just don't want to
mhm.
stop or wait until we get home at night. So
Well, that's my life, so it's totally fine. It's
yeah,
yeah, but it was really neat to see Brad's relationship with the ICs, with the clients. Like it was very relational, and that
yes,
did surprise me,
yes,
So it's
absolutely,
cool. Mhm.
absolutely. So you worked in fields that seem very different. What are some career building strategies you carried um, from each job to the next? It-
So I have a big belief that you go in humble because you're coming into this new environment. Um, and as you know, I switched different industries quite a bit. And so I always go in and I'm like, what can I learn from these people who have been there, who work for this company, who know this industry a lot more than I do? And so a lot of times I'll just sit and I'll just back and I'll watch and I'll observe and I'll learn and I'll listen. And I think that is really important because it's important to remove that ego and any pride and
yes,
just say like I'm here to be a sponge and soak it all up. So I think that would be a huge thing, a huge piece of advice that I would again, that's listening. It's that listening piece. And
absolutely.
that piece of being open and ready to learn and jump in and just do your best. And I have a belief that I want to just lay it all on the table every single day, do my best, work my hardest, show up and help the company move forward toward its goals. And I think if you really move forward with that attitude, you're going to go far.
Absolutely.
Apply those soft skills. All comes back to the soft
It
skills.
does. It does. Absolutely. All right, Carrie. Another question I want to jump into. What advice would you give someone looking to make a pivot into their entirely new industry, especially if they feel unsure about starting over?
Well, I kind of feel like you almost answered just a little bit. Like, just do it and jump in, right? I always think like what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to gain some new experience. You might learn that it's not for you, or you might discover you like it. I think that too many people stay in one industry because they allow fear to dictate what they do next, or they're content with the status quo, right? When they could be doing so much more. And so I say, like, and as you know, I've switched industries quite a bit, um, but it's like, just try it. You may be really good at it. You may find that you love it, and you're going to meet some pretty awesome people along the way. You may find that you don't, but you're going to again meet awesome people along the way that may lead to your next thing, right? And
Absolutely.
and again, it comes back to God opens these doors for a reason. So just walk through them and see where it takes you. Like, and I'm going to tell you, like, coming to janitorial from coaching was really nerve-wracking to me because I knew nothing about the janitorial industry. And I'm like, is this going to be okay? Like, I don't know. I knew Dan, I trusted Dan, but I'm like, I've sold a little bit of B&B, but not a
Right.
whole lot. B2B, but not a whole lot. I've never worked in the janitorial field. So it is scary, but I cannot, I can honestly say that every career change I've made has been for a reason. I've learned so much and it's been so worth it. So I always tell people, I'm like, just do it. Just do it. Step outside of fear and just see what happens.
100%, 100%. So I'll tell you a little bit, and I'll jump in. So I was in retail management over 30 years, right?
Hmm.
So I made a jump into it's similar industry, but it was more payday loan, and then I went into the janitorial world, and I mean um it was kind of life changing in regards to
Hmm.
because but working retail, you're direct hire here. We're since janitorial, I did a combination of direct and subcontracting, but subcontracting and managing that is so much more of a uh, joy and
Hmm.
in some sort. So yeah, you just got to go
Hmm.
out there and jump on it. And beyond that, I've been a real estate agent. I've been driving diesel trucks,
Oh my
nickel
gosh,
field.
you're like me. Jump around. That's why we get along.
Absolutely. I always trying to learn something new or meet somebody fascinating. So yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Well, tell me this, like, not that I'm switching it to interviewing you, but maybe we'll do this. But don't you feel like as you get older and as you've done more things, you start to become attracted to the people, not necessarily the industry? Like you're
Yes.
like, I want to work for good people. I want to
Yes.
work with good people. And that to me has been a major shift in the last few years. Like, who do I want to surround myself with versus what do
Absolutely.
I want to do? That makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, you've seen it, you've kind of been through the ropes and picked up new things, experienced new things, but it all comes down to the people you're working with and
Hmm.
that trust there. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, in your coaching experience, what are the most common career mistakes you've seen?
People don't work hard enough.
That's yes. Yes.
Coming from my previous career, that probably makes sense. But what we were doing before was helping people build their businesses. And there was just this weird idea that you wouldn't have to get down and just do what needed to be done to move forward, right? And I used to see that in network marketing. People just don't want to put in the time. They want the end result, but not to put in the time.
Yes.
And I think when building a business, isn't that what you asked me about building the businesses,
Yeah.
right? I was trying to look at the questions, but that's one of the biggest mistakes I went. And that's probably really harsh to say that, but it's a mistake that I saw happen over and over again. Like, yes, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. These people that you see massively successful that and where you want to be. For example, it's because what I heard a lot. I'm like, I want to make $20 million a year. I want my company to produce $20 million a year. You got to do the work. You've
Yes.
got to do the work on a consistent basis. And that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen people make. The other one is not setting their structures and their systems up in a way that makes sense. They may have this wonderful idea and amazing talent, but if you don't have the strategic plan in place and you don't have the people in place, it's not going to be successful either. So you have to be prepared for those kind of things as well. And I see that miss happen a
Yes.
lot too.
Yes.
Um, top two. Those are my top two.
Well, and I would add to this, and I'm sure you'll piggyback on this, is that you got to have a passion of what you do. If you don't have a
Mm-hmm.
passion, that you're not going to be engaged. You're not going to, take that business or take your personal results to the next level. And
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because you're going to get kicked down. That's the reality of it. Is like very
absolutely.
rarely when you make a career switch or a business switch, start a business, you're going to get kicked down. You're going to get rejection. And if you have a passion and a belief and a love for what you do, you'll get back up,
Absolutely.
you know? And you just have to keep getting back up and keep building. And it's that perseverance that you see on those people who do end up being super successful and whatever they want to do, whether it's personal, whether it's business, it's any of those things, you just have to keep going. I think there is a misconception that it's like weight loss. People think that it's going to be this straight, it's going to be very linear, right? It's not. It's not linear. It's very up and down. And it's like that with business too. It's very up and down.
It is.
And so you have to be prepared for that.
Yes. I mean, I know I went through that journey too. It's like you lose all that weight and then you get tired of eating like a bird, and so you go back to your natural thing. So
And
it
then you're
comes
like,
back
is
to you.
this my life forever?
I know, I know. All right. So
Totally.
can you share a particular memorable or challenging moment in your sales role that taught you something new about adaptability?
Mm. Oh my gosh, there's so many lessons about adaptability. I would say one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that people are different. People are different. So this isn't a specific memory, but people are different. Their personalities are different. And one of the challenges I had early on was not recognizing and not having that emotional intelligence to realize that I and to depict their personality types to understand how I needed to talk to them so they heard what I was saying. And so, like you and I are going to talk totally differently than I would probably talk to Dan Schindler or Chris or other people because of their personalities and how their disc profiles, right? And their strengths and so forth. And so that's not a manipulative thing. It's just understanding in sales, you have to be able to be on the same level of the person that you're talking with. And you have to be able to adjust that based on what you hear them say, based on their inflection, their tonality, all those different things. And so that's one of the biggest lessons I feel like I've learned is like I have to be able to match them where they're at. And I have to be able to communicate in a way that they're going to understand based on their personality and their life experiences and those things.
Absolutely. And I've noticed that. I sit back and observe a lot. And I see how you change. You do. You practice what you preach here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our conversations is different from your Chris, and then it's different from Dan. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
just you can see that you make them ebbs and flows and adjustments to the conversation, and it works
Mm-hmm.
out great for you. And you got to learn from the expert. And that's Carrie.
Well, and it's like it's not manipulative. It's just understanding where the
No.
person's at and their personality, right? And we do it with our kids a lot too, but I don't know if you've ever studied the disc profile,
Yes, no,
DISC.
I've
Okay.
taken about 3 or 4 of them. Yeah.
Hmm. So we studied it intensely. And so it's something that is really benefited me to learn that and understand where someone's coming from and their communication method and how it works best to communicate with them. Because you think you see this with spouses, you see this with kids all the time when they don't communicate the same. It's because their profiles are different. So if you can figure
Yes.
that out, it's a game changer.
Absolutely. And so let me ask you this question because I mean, what I've noticed in my disc file, when I was 20 years old, I took it again when I was 30, and I think I took it again at 40,
It
and
changed.
it adjusted.
Mhm.
As more experience come in, it seemed like um, as I got educated, coached, developed as
Mhm.
a young individual into a professional, that I readjusted it accordingly from soft skills, active listening, all them little tidbits there that make you a true professional. And I can see it in
Yeah.
my disc cell or my disc.
Hmm. Your
So
profile, yeah.
yeah,
Well, and it's interesting too, if you take it professionally and personally, your results will come out different too,
that's true.
based on your experiences. So it doesn't surprise me to see that yours has changed, right? And developed as you've gained that more experience, right? And
Right.
I think a little bit of it is confidence too, don't you think? Like as you've gained the confidence in who you are as a person and your experience that you have behind you.
Absolutely. And me and Dan Keels, and we kind of talked about this prior to we had an interview and we talked about our time at Blockbuster, right?
Hmm.
Blockbuster was a big thing, and they develop, they spend and invest a lot of money on development of their people, and they brought in some high dollar coaches and in different sectors from leadership to time management to productivity to processes. And I think, yes, as young, I was trying to take that all in, and I did. However, you got to practice that several times. And that's what I'm saying. I think as you practice it and you get more confident to your point, it just kind of changes and that flow. So,
It becomes more natural. And yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. So now I'm super curious. Who was your favorite leadership coach that they brought in, or leadership development, personal development coach that they brought in?
Um,
Not to put you on the spot.
Man, I am trying to remember. There's that time. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to help me out with this. Uh,
Oh,
Colby.
oh, Stephen Covey.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So
Okay. They brought him in?
yes, yes.
Oh,
And
wow.
they gave us nice little setups. And I mean they invested a lot of money. That was when Blockbuster was big time back then. So
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
they
I
got into
used to owe a lot of money to Blockbuster.
it.
We moved across the state with a movie one time, and I'm like, oh no, we're gonna owe them for life.
So the question, and that question was brought up last night because Dan was store manager and I was a district manager. And I was his district manager. And he brought up, is like one customer just kept on saying, I'm not going to pay them late fees. I'm going to call your district manager or call me. So he called me and he was like, see, Danny, you told me to take it off. And but he did say after I took it off that he didn't complain about it because I had a conversation with the guy. I was like, "We'll be more than happy to do it this time, but next time we won't be
It's on
able
you.
to." Yeah.
To think this is how we used to watch movies too. Like I remember as a kid, we would go to this little mom and pop video store and rent a VCR and a movie to bring home and watch.
I know. Time has changed. It's so accessible now. It's like,
I,
oh my gosh.
now our kids are like, how come you're not paying for this subscription too? I want to watch this movie.
That is right. That is right. Oh my gosh. Well, hey, I'm not complaining though. I love it. I
Hmm.
love the convenience of it. So
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
how has the rise of the networking and social media influenced your career transition? And what networking tips would you give for anyone in sales?
Oh, social media, hasn't it been interesting?
It
Hasn't it
has.
been? It's been such an interesting ride with social media. Um, so I think what you're seeing in social media right now is you went from this, I mean, you still have influencers, right? But it went from the Pinterest mom, the not real stuff to now everyone wants authentic and they want real and they want in person is even better, but they want the real good, bad, and the ugly. And so I think when it looks like when you look at networking, when you look at social media, you have to really keep that in mind, especially when it comes from sales too, right? Um, it, the more real you are, the more raw you are, the more people are going to follow you. And you're really in sales creating your own personal brand. You're doing it right now with Dan the Cleaning Man, right? You're creating your own personal brand that people follow you because of who you are and may come to integrity because of you and your brand. And that's what you're seeing in sales across the board. And that's what we're really looking at implementing here in integrity is like we have to brand ourselves for the company. Does that make
Absolutely.
sense?
Absolutely.
And
100%.
authentically do that. No one wants to fake stuff and they can see right through it. In fact, they're looking for it right now. Is they're really,
Yes.
really looking for it. And just after this pandemic, the COVID pandemic, when everyone was just by themselves and secluded, right? And Oregon was really bad. We were shut down for quite a while. People want that connection. They want to feel connected with somebody who they can relate to. And so the more you can do that in social media, the more you're going to up your viewers, you're going to up your ratings, like all those things that are so important. And that all leads to sales because people are going to trust you. They're going to feel like they know you. They're going to like you and they're going to buy from you. So
Absolutely.
that's my spin on social media.
And and it's, man, what you just said there is, I've obviously I've invested a lot of time because I'm trying to get caught up with the social media and branding. Being in real estate and branding, that was something I had to learn a while back. But now I'm trying to take this different approach to the social media and build the Dan the Cleaning Man channel and help the community out there in regards to if they want to get into janitorial, or you got a company that's over 10 million, and I can help support you in regards to streamlining your operations. Them are the
Hmm.
things that I want to be there to support individuals or owners in regards to that. So, but um there was a point I was going to make, and I was going to hit on it, but you hit right on the dot. The point I was going to make is that we talk about with the ops team
Hmm.
creating that trust
Hmm.
and following up with either the tenants, the property managers, the office managers, creates that trust where they, creates additional sales for them. And we
Hmm.
always coach that is like, you got to be there to support, build that trust, and, fulfill their request and make sure the scope of work is being completed.
Yeah.
Once you establish that and you're proactive to that, I mean, the sky's the limit.
Sky's the
So,
limit. You've created that relationship. They trust you and you've added value. And then it's game over,
yes,
really. It's like that is there. And there are so many people in all these industries I've been in that I still stay connected with because we've created that relationship. It's about the people. It really,
absolutely.
really is.
Friends for life in most
Hmm.
cases too. And
Hmm.
and even if you get out of the business, they'll call you, hey, you got a referral? Because I really trust your referral. I trust your opinion.
Hmm.
And anything we can do to help them. So that's very valid point there.
I feel like when you get to that point, you know that you're doing things right because it's not about the dollar, it's about the people.
That's
The
correct.
dollar will come if
Correct.
you know what I mean. So, that's a great
Absolutely.
philosophy
And
to live
that's
by.
And that's what I tell them. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about it. Just worry about building that trust, and
Hmm.
it'll come. It will
Hmm.
eventually come, and more than what you expect. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Tenfold.
yeah.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what is one thing you wish more people knew about transitioning to sales, and how has that journey impacted your personal and professional growth?
Um, I wish people would understand sales is about the people. It's about the people. It's about the relationship. It's about building that trust. And you build that trust from relationships. I think we were talking in one of our meetings about being nice and having a relationship. And those are kind of two different things, right? Like
Correct.
a lot of people are nice, but it doesn't mean you have a no like and trust relationship with someone, right? And so for me, when it comes to sales, and I think you've probably seen this happen, is like I get to know the person, I develop a relationship with them, and we build that trust, right? It doesn't necessarily mean I'm always telling them what they want to hear because I can't, because you can't in sales, you can't lie. You
No.
have to be
Transparency.
truthful. Yeah, you
Yes.
have to have this transparency about it, but that also creates a massive amount of trust that builds a relationship. And so that's the one thing I see people missing in sales is it's all about the money, not the people. And it needs to be about the people.
That's
because
correct.
that's the money will follow if you make it about the people and your heart is in the right spot. The other thing with sales, and that we talked about this earlier, is you got to believe in the product. You got to believe in the product. You got to believe in the people. And if you don't, if you do not have buy-in, you're not going to sell. You're not going to sell anything. And that's not the point.
No.
You want to close deals. I mean, can you imagine being in real estate like you were and not loving real estate?
Yes, I burnt myself out on real estate, to be honest with you. Oh, they kept me up late. Oh my gosh. I was like, hold on. But
I I
it,
know, I get that.
yeah, it's so
There's one other thing about sales, can I add to that? Is that
absolutely.
I love working on commission. I love it because I can determine my salary. Like I love that. It gives me a lot of energy, but you have to protect your time and you have to protect your recharge time. And I see a lot of salespeople don't do that. And they, to your point, burn out because it's like, I got to just keep working this deal. If I close this deal and then another deal comes, and if you don't protect that time and have those boundaries, you will burn out so quickly.
Yeah, and I that is certainly a very important message for anyone on commission. And you have to have that mental capability to
Mhm.
kind of feel comfortable doing the commission side of things. I mean,
Mhm.
because there's individuals just like yourself. It's like I love the commission part of it because I don't have no limitations to my
Mhm.
salary. And then you have individuals like I just want that consistent check
Mhm.
to come in from that perspective. So, but when I was in real estate, I was like, okay, I got the snowball going down the hill. I don't want it to
Mhm.
stop. I,
Yeah.
I wanted to keep it going and I just wore myself out. And
It's
that's
addicting, isn't it
it is.
addicting?
It
You're
is.
like, oh, I did this much this month. What can I do next month?
Yes. And
It
then if
really
you have a down month, you're like down in the dumps, like what did I do different? And then you're just yeah, you're cracking down on yourself.
The best advice I ever heard when it comes to commission based is you look at your commissions for a year and your lowest month is actually what you count on making, right? So
Yes.
your lowest month, that is your paycheck. So if you make a ton more one month, great. But you just take your lowest commission month and that's what you bank on. And when you put it in that aspect, it's like, okay, that's where I know my security is at, but what can I do above and beyond that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So we talked about the soft skills, the active listening, being passionate what you
Mhm.
do, enjoy your
Mhm.
job. And the last piece that you shared on the back end of this was
What?
I
Set
can't
boundaries? What are we talking about?
the
The
people.
people, the people, the people, the people. It's all about the people.
Yes, no, I just think there was very so many points that you made in this interview today, and um, but Carrie, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I know you got some boys that are ready for either dinner or just want your attention.
Do you hear it?
No, I don't hear it. But I've heard you. Yeah, you were just talking that they're going to be coming in here soon. So,
They're going to be coming in here soon, but this has been really fun. I thank you so much for asking me on. This was a blast tonight.
oh
It was a
yeah,
good
no,
way to spend a Thursday evening.
there we go. There we go. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. And one last thing, Carrie, you wanted to
Oh,
promote. Yes,
yes.
yes. Go ahead,
You want me to do my quick spiel?
please,
So,
please.
we are doing something different at Integrity, and it's probably throwing everybody off, but I'm really excited about it. And it comes back to marketing and adding value and being really authentic. So, we're hosting our first ever Solutions and Success Luncheon. It's going to be a networking event. Bringing in Ryan and Brittany Hall from the Revenue Agency Texas, and they're a fractional CEO company. So they come in and they help find the holes in companies and businesses so that they can scale to where they want to go. And as you know, I've worked with Ryan and Brittany for years and years and years, and they are phenomenal at what they do. But this is going to be an amazing opportunity. So if you're in the Dallas, Fort Worth area, December 12th, reach out to me at Carrie@integrityfacility.com and I'll get you on that list. It's a free luncheon and you guys aren't going to want to miss it. It's going to be phenomenal. You're going to be there, right?
Yes, I will be there.
Yes, you'll be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm flying in for it. So it's going to be really amazing. So thanks for letting me share about that. We would love to just fill that room and it's going to be massive value, massive
Yes,
value.
yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. So,
Mm-hmm.
well,
It'll be
thank
fun.
you again, Carrie, and I appreciate it. And we'll hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm a game. Bye,
Thank you
Danny.
for watching Dan the Cleaning Man channel.